Hi everyone, and welcome again to my audiovisual channel. My name is Gabriela Handal, I am a draftsman, and I want to do another episode of artwork versus reference because I finished a drawing recently. Should I take it out? Okay, maybe I will. But I'm going to show it to you on the screen in a second. So yes, I finished the drawing, a rarity, I know. And I made the drawing because I wanted to submit it to a show at my school, and I submitted it and everything. I don't know if the drawing has been accepted yet. I don't remember when that's going to be notified. But anyway, the drawing has been finished, and I was able to finish thanks to my husband helping me with scheduling for the drawing. And well, really, whether the drawing is finished or not is, of course, arguable. I don't feel like it's finished, but I'm gonna, it was declared finished the moment the day of the deadline came. So it's done. I'm gonna leave it be for now. And, if it doesn't get accepted, I might draw more on it. Maybe. Anyway, so the drawing I'm talking about is Clytie Becoming a Heliotrope. And I'll just take it out. I think I did that also with the line of the drawing of the lion that I showed you the other time, which was the first episode of this thing that I want to do. It's like an ongoing series. Okay, so here's the drawing. She's still in the drawing pad. This is it. That's her. Straighten it like that. It's graphite on paper. The paper is Strathmore heavy drawing paper. This one, this sort of drawing pad. The pencil that I used is a Blackwing Pearl pencil. The Pearl is supposed to be more balanced, meaning a little bit harder than the 602 and the matte. And I also used powdered charcoal, and I also used brushes, the small bristle brushes that I've talked about in previous videos. I made a video about using soft bristle brushes for making shadows with graphite, powdered graphite, or just graphite. Anyway, it's these. I also used this one for the background. It's a bigger one. I don't know what brand they are. This one says it's Grumbacher. Okay, so Clytie Becoming a Heliotrope. I don't actually know how to pronounce that. It sounds a lot like clit to me, which I don't like. Just because I guess I don't like that kind of slang, quote-unquote, word. I would prefer the word clitoris. Much like when people say vagina instead of just saying vulva, which is what they mean. It's very irritating. Whatever. That is unrelated rant. But no, it's related. It's tangential. Anyway, the thing is, Clytie is a character from Greek mythology. And she is a river nymph, Nereid, I don't remember right now, but she falls in love with Helios, the sun god. And some shitstorm happens that I don't remember, and he betrays her. I think he betrays her, and she ends up becoming a flower. She ends up becoming a heliotrope. And so heliotropes, they follow the face of the flowers follows the sun as it goes through the firmament. Like sunflowers are supposed to do that as well. So then that's why she becomes a heliotrope, and so you have Helios right in the name, which is pretty cool. And alright, so I hope you find this video interesting. Please let me know if you find it interesting, and remember to like and share and subscribe to my channel, because it's very helpful. And also please check out the links that I have in the description. If you use any of those, it's very helpful. You're supporting my work and my channel and my drawings and everything. So let's head on to to the images. And now you'll have a good view of the drawing. Oh my god, look, it's back there. I am getting smaller. Alright, I think I'm gonna hang out here. Okay, so here is the scan of the drawing. Let me go there. Yes, there she is. That's the drawing. And my reference for the drawing was a sculpture, is a sculpture by George Frederick Watts. I think that sculpture is in the Met, I'm not sure. But, is this, yeah. This is the view of the sculpture that I decided to use as my reference. Because I just liked this view, a lot. Supposedly this is the moment when she is transforming into the flower. And so she's kind of supposed to be, I mean, I sort of picture her sort of with some kind of Disney style, you know, cartoon style swirl of magic air around her, kind of twisting around her, and she's all kind of like turning, her body also kind of twisting while she becomes the flower. So then down here we have the petals that are kind of, that she's kind of being funneled into as she transforms into the flower. And so yes, I like this view quite a lot. And it's one of the views that I like most of the sculpture. I have other views of the sculpture here. Why did I put this one here? I meant to put this here because it's kind of like the next one. Anyway, whatever. Does it matter? I don't know. Is it still? Okay. Anyway. Where was I? This is so annoying. Whatever. So this is another view of the sculpture. Side view. And we can see kind of like her neck twisting back like that, turning her head back. Here's a bit more of the back view of the sculpture. And this is more of the back view. What else do I have here? This is a full back view. Okay? Now, the reason I'm showing you this is because that pose is insane. And I think from looking at the pose and all of the angles of it, and just trying to do the pose, because I mean, this was not my only reference. Speaking of references, I took lots of pictures of myself trying to do the pose, and then while trying to do the pose, I was like, I cannot fucking do this pose in like one pose. And well, that's why I have all of these views to sort of, I don't know, prove my point in a way, or like as evidence that I wasn't able to do the pose. And I mean, one of the cool things about sculpture is that it kind of is like physical evidence that something is possible in a way, much like drawing is like a physical, visible illustration that something is possible. And I mean, that's pretty cool, obviously. But, so, it's just that looking at all of the views, like, you know, you can see the way the neck here is kind of curved in that way. And it's not that we can't turn our heads that much, we can, but it gets progressively more difficult the closer your chin gets to your shoulder. And anyway, the thing is that trying to do the pose like myself with my own body and just looking at certain things on the sculpture made me think that the artist, George Frederick Watts, maybe, I mean, he must have been imagining quite a lot. He either was imagining a lot, or he asked his model, if he had a model, to make the pose, different parts of the pose in different occasions. And that's what I did for the pictures that I took of myself, which I can't show you because this is YouTube. So I did a pose for this higher shoulder. I mean, I tried taking the pose for this higher shoulder. I tried taking the pose of the head like this, but then I did not like what my chin and my neck looked like, so I took just a portrait for that, with that angle, because getting that angle of the head, it was nuts as well. Because it's like you're turning away and then kind of like pulling your head, the top of your head back, and that was just crazy. So the most difficult part, and really kind of like the impossible part for me to try to do, was this optical right shoulder. I was completely fucking unable to imitate the way this shoulder looks. And if I look at the back pictures, I mean, I was able to find some nice big pictures of some views, but then this back view is just like, I only found this tiny friggin' thing that I want to baby talk because it's so small. It looks as if she's shrugging, as if her optical left shoulder, but it's her actual left shoulder in this case because of the view, as if she's shrugging. And you know, now that I see this crazy fold here, she might be having that arm lifted way back so that it folds that way. But I didn't try that, so I can't tell you whether that is the case or not. But if he had a person actually posing for that, that's crazy, because it looks like it might have been really painful. I mean, he probably didn't need somebody to pose for a really long time or anything. But that's crazy. Anyway, the thing is that I was unable to do the entire pose in one pose. I had to do it in parts. Yes. I just found it, I couldn't do it. And I could not get my shoulder to look this way. All right, so I'm looking at this, and there's several things that made me think that he is doing some kind of speculation. There was a model present at some point. There was not a model present at other points. So I think a model was not present for this chest, because this chest is absurd. And I mean, it's not the first time that a sculptor makes a ridiculous chest on a woman. Because I think there's some sculpture from like the Michelangelo time that looks the same. It looks like a man chest with apples shoved underneath the skin. It looks crazy. It's like a reclining figure. I don't know what it's called. But it makes me think of that, because the chest looks very flat, and then you have like the breasts kind of like directly like cones going up. Okay, but then when we get to the nip-nops, when we get to the nipples, they look very natural somehow. And I mean, the reason that I'm mentioning the natural, quote-unquote, looking parts, naturalistic parts, is because when I took the pictures of myself, I was like, that is really accurate, you know? So for example, the direction in which the nipples are pointing, because like nipples, they point in different directions for different people, but like on average, meaning for the most part, they point slightly, a teeny bit outwards, okay? And that applies for men and women. But just these look like implants otherwise. They look like implants on a man. And that's, unless you have gigantic implants on a woman or implants on a man, it looks like this, where it looks like a bag of fluid shoved under the skin. It doesn't look natural. And then you have other things. I mean, not to mention that a man's chest is very different from a woman's chest, because women's pectorals are, in general, the woman's female upper body is proportionally smaller than a man's. And so like the pectoralis major, and just like all of that stuff, all of that chest stuff is proportionally smaller. So the breasts, and the fat distribution and everything, the skin itself, and so it just sits differently on the chest. Like all that tissue sits differently on the chest. So then that part, like the mammary gland, arguably, and like the fat, is ridiculous here. Like the what would be a cleavage otherwise, maybe. You know, like this space between the breasts is just ridiculous in this sculpture. And I changed that. I mean, I changed these titties a lot, all right, for my drawing. So the ones I made for my drawing are much more natural. Okay. The space between the breasts is also more natural and much smoother. It's like you don't have like this ridiculous line here on the optical right breast. You don't have that because that is not there that way, all right? You have kind of a line that is sharper on the contour, what looks like the contour from this view, and then it kind of fades into the body curving, okay? And well, like I said about the nipples were surprisingly natural looking in the sculpture itself. It's just, you know, they look fleshy, you know, like the way, for example, on this optical right one, the areola, which is the edge of that circle, that is not the circle that's around the nipple itself, you know, I think it's pretty cool that I can see it here. You know, or at least I can see what would be kind of like the contour of it, of the farthest edge of that one. And it kind of like fades into the breast, and that's what it would look like in real life. And so in this one, likewise, this farther edge is sharper, and then these edges that are towards the medial line are softer because that's what it would look like. Okay. Other things that look very naturalistic are the armpit folds, which are these folds here, and the folds on the neck, and the pit of the neck. This looks very, very naturalistic to me. Like the way this part of the skin here is, it has kind of like a wide groove, but not a fold yet. Like if you know, if that person rested, if this body rested the weight of the body on top of the shoulder like that, it would probably fold at some point, but it's not there yet. You know, and I can see the clavicle coming here. And the other clavicle coming here, but then these little details here are very natural looking, and I think that's great, you know, and I mean, again, because I took the pose, I was like, you know, that's really accurate. It's like the way kind of this part down here, not down here, like here closer to the neck, this curve going down. Should I try to draw this? Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. That's too opaque. Better. Changing the color. How fucking dare you? Thanks. Okay, so you kind of see like this rhythm, really very lovely rhythm of lines here. That's very naturalistic. And again, because I saw it in the pictures that I took of myself, and I was like, damn, I mean, I just think that's very interesting. Also, the colors of Venus, these marks here, you know, but when we look at the portrait, where's the front view of the portrait? Here. This also, you know, it seems, I don't want to say idealized because, I mean, I guess it's idealized, but okay. You know, like this bridge of the nose and the uniformity of the brow and the lids. There's just something, and I mean, not that this glabella and the bridge of the nose doesn't exist. Of course it does. I just kind of feel like not entirely sure why, but it looks like it's not from life to me. I feel like it's from imagination, or like he's idealizing, or he's something. Okay. And, you know, he might be doing it also with this frickin' chin and neck, because Unless it's a very young person, you know, if Clytie is young, I mean, she probably is because it's a goddess type or a demigod, I don't know. It makes sense that she wouldn't have just crazy double chin happening here because it was hard not to have that when I was trying to take pictures of myself. Okay. Yeah, so I definitely tried to do this lovely this lovely folding of the skin that he did here, particularly this area here. These here are just very, very nice. And I certainly tried to do a bit of that. If this drawing does not get into the show that I'm trying to get into, I'm probably gonna try to retouch this area. Just not retouch it, just develop it more, because I for sure want to do more stuff. I'm not gonna necessarily cover that here, but you know, whatever. You know, the pit of the neck, it is such a lovely area in the sculpture. Just really like this entire kind of contorted, it's so feminine and womanly, you know? It's very nice. Right, so the way that I did, here is the optical left armpit fold. I did change it a little bit. Didn't do it exactly the same. Because, I mean, you know, I'm not trying, that's another thing, I guess I should have said that earlier. I didn't try to exactly copy the sculpture, just like the picture of the sculpture, because I don't want to do that. I think that would be stupid. If I was studying the sculpture from life, then I would be drawing the sculpture, but I mean, I like the pose of the sculpture, but I want to use it rather as a reference and then kind of make her into an actual woman, you know, or rather more human looking, because that's kind of what the Greek gods were, you know, they were human in appearance and whatever. And I really wanted to have a good time with this portrait. Because even though the portrait, fuck. You know, it's okay. It's okay. But I'm not losing my shit over it. I really wanted to have fun with that, and it was actually one of the things that we left for last based on the estimates that I give my husband. So that was good because I didn't fucking finish the portrait and then was left with not wanting to do anything else, because that's my bad habit. I just lose my shit in the portrait, and then everything else is like, oh, I have to do that now? Anyway, what was I talking about? Right, there was something, yeah, so the sculpture, I didn't want to copy the sculpture. I wanted to kind of draw the moment that the sculpture is depicting, but not as the sculpture. Like, I don't want to draw this picture, because that, I don't know, you know, I'm not having a very easy time explaining why I think that would be stupid, but I think it would be stupid. I guess because it's part of what I've ranted about before, that it's like, if I'm just going to copy the picture, just stick with the picture. It's like, the point of using a different medium is to do something that the other medium cannot do, you know? So then this picture did its job, and I have no place trying to do that same job because I'm trying to draw something like that. And not that trying to reproduce a picture using drawing or painting, like when you're doing hyperrealism, that has its place. If you're practicing and you're trying to learn to train your visual or your artistic eye, that's cool. But I don't think it's a visual language, you know? All right, so anyway, that's your rant for today. So, all right, so this lady, whoever this was, has guns, okay? She has guns, which is cool. I'm into it. But, you know, maybe Mr. Watts maybe he had a guy posing for this. I mean, that's possible. I don't know. I really, it's difficult for me to read art history sometimes because of the tripe that they put in those things. Because it's like, oh yeah, women were not allowed in the world. It's like, we fucking know, all right? We get it. Just get to the fucking history. So I didn't actually do that much research because I find that stuff extremely frustrating. But whatever it is, the resulting sculpture lady has guns. If we look at and I mean, look at this back. This back is freaking lovely. And I mean, you don't have to be buff to be able to display this musculature on your back. You just have to contort shit, you know? And it'll show up. It's very nice. And this bulging trapezius here, that's why I thought, a little bit here too, but then this side does make more sense to me. this is why I thought that she was shrugging on the other side. Yeah, this one in particular is why I thought she was shrugging. I'll have to make this smaller still, fine. Because this looks like a shrug to me, you know? But, I mean, I tried in the pictures that I took of myself for reference, and it did not work. So, I mean, in the drawing, I tried to make it to kind of keep that part, because also, you know, there are some things that I know that I feel pretty comfortable kind of not improvising, but imagining and inventing. And that is the shoulder girdle and the portrait in certain positions. Because if you have it in a neutral position, or like this other slouchy position, profile kind of 3/4 position that I very much enjoy doing, then I find it easier to kind of remake those rhythms so that it doesn't look deformed, you know, so that it looks more believable. But then this position, I don't feel that confidence, because I mean, I think it's the first fucking time in my life that I've done this position, so I'm not familiar with how I can take liberties with it. So I just left this part this way, with the shrugged trapezius here. This other part over here, at least, you know, makes more sense. And anyway, what I was trying to get to with the arms is that I left those guns there because they're cool, you know? Guns are cool. Okay, so let's talk. Should I leave the portrait for last? I should practice doing that, so let's leave it for last. Let me show you the reference that I used for the petals. Let me see if I can find it, all right? I think I put it here. Just give me a minute. Yes, one moment, please. What I used was, because I'm not finding it apparently, an illuminated page from some medieval shit. I don't know what it was. Or, you know, I don't know what it was from, whence it came. But that is how I was able to do these petals. All right, just give me a minute. Because sometimes, I mean, you know, I started out with the shapes that are here, sort of. And then, all right, I don't know where it fucking is, all right? You're gonna have to imagine it. Or I could put a link in the description to it. I think I can do that. Okay, I'll try to do that. Right, so I started with this generalized shape, but then, again, if I'm trying to not draw the sculpture, I have to do certain things. So I have to obviously not draw this pedestal thing that's here. It's not a pedestal, I don't know what that's called. I have to not draw that, first of all. And I wanted it also to look like the petals are going around and behind her, because I mean, even though they do in the sculpture, of course, in this view, it kind of, you know, doesn't look like it. It's like over here, what's happening? It's like, what's happening here? Did it break? I don't know. I don't know what's happening there. Anyway, so then I had to draw the petals. I had to draw the petals. So then these two front ones are really very medieval looking, of like an illuminated textbook. And that's what you have there. And these were kind of like the leaves. I'm gonna link it in the description, okay? The image for you to look. And that's my signature, and when I finished it, or, you know, allegedly. So let's get to the portrait. this is the portrait from the view that I liked. It's okay. It's cool. And well, I knew that for the hair I was going to do some Alphonse Mucha shit. Because look at these wavies, you know? It's like, wow. It's like, wow. It's like fucking wave, windy-ass hair, you know? And it makes sense with all the movement that is happening here. So what I did was roughly following the hair in the sculpture. Keyword roughly, okay. Following the hair in the sculpture, I made little sections of hair. And then also roughly following the lighting of the picture of the sculpture, the back part is very, very dark, as it is here. And the front is lighter. Which also I thought was pretty cool because it's kind of as if, you know, the sun is in front of her face, so then the back would be darker, something like that. And for the portrait of my own head was very, very helpful. Let me see if I can at least show you the portrait. Just give me a minute. Just one moment, please. Wow, technology. Okay. Right, so then I took this picture with my phone. And it's pretty close. It's pretty close, it's not bad. Pretty close to the portrait. Where is the portrait? Here it is. And well, you know, if you look at the, oh my god, I have so much shit open. So, you know, this face is kind of smushed. The forehead is very, very low. It's like it is so close here. This is so close to the eyebrows. I feel like the eyes are kind of like droopy down like that. These are other reasons for which I think this is an imagined, kind of idealized, imagined portrait. This bottom of the nose is very, it's like this philtrum is very, very small. So yes, anyway, the thing is that this is the picture of myself that I took, which was very, very, very helpful. And then I have a nicer, higher forehead that I can work with here. The nose is completely fucking different, but whatever. The mouth was very, very helpful. Because the vermilion border is not here because this is a rock and it's only one color, you know. Same at the bottom of the lip, and like the shadows, the way the color would behave with that, you know, like look at this, I got a very similar lighting. This coloration, you know, with like the color of a lip color and lighting, very, very helpful. And I was able to further populate the portrait because it's like, again, this is a rock and it's like you can only do so much. You can do a lot, but you know, George only did so much. So then I was like, oh yeah, look at the eye socket. I mean, that's another thing that's pretty naturalistic and realistic. It's like the socket here, that's very nice. And I actually quite like the thickness of the lid that he has here. But anyway, the socket, that's there. The socket going onto kind of like this part of the cheek that's right next to the nose, that's very accurate. But anyway, the information that I wanted was, you know, just more information happening in this cheek, which, you know, in this view is pretty big. So that was very helpful to have this part, you know, like from the node going into what's called the jowls. And this part here under the mouth as well, the shadows. Jawline is completely fucking different because, again, I was unable to take the pose and I didn't like all the double chins that I produced. And also the shape of the brow, because again, this is an idealized brow. You know, so so my drawing has a bit more of my eyebrows and kind of like my brow that has a lot more because my eyes are hooded. So she has like, I wonder how this would look in real life, you know, if this was like an actual alive person. She would probably be fucking deformed. But she has like this area of mine and then these beautiful lids that you can see the lids because I have hooded eyes, so you can see very little of the lid. You know, I have to close my eyes and then there's still a fold there. You know, it's crazy. So yes. But yeah, she has, my drawing has this adorable, tiny, juicy mouth. And I particularly like the information provided by what I typically associate with kind of like a youthful blush or like a youthful warmth and blush of, or you know, if you tan in this area, like the bridge of the nose, because it's super sticky outy, it catches the sun first, right? And so like then this, because this under the, like this cheek area that is under the socket is like a fucking solar panel, so that also tends to flush, you know, like it looks very nice. So then that is the information that's being provided here. And then, so yeah, here's the other, like this transition from the node to what is again apparently called jowls. I don't know what the artistic anatomy term is for that, but in makeup videos and face massage videos, I learned that they're called jowls. Okay, so then for the nasolabial fold, and again, because Clytie is supposed to be youthful because she's a demigod or whatever, nasolabial fold is barely there because she's young, but you can still, I still provided that information, kind of like continuing the flush of the cheeks and transitioned it very, very slowly down here. So like it would be around here. And I mean, in the picture that I took of myself, you don't see it because I have the light in front of my face. So it's if I had the light coming kind of raking from sideways, you would see clearly like where the cheek meets, you know, the nasolabial fold and kind of sinks in there. But it's there, and I used the information anyway that I had here available. And I also used my nose, the alar cartilage, to help me talk about that in the drawing as well. Though in the reference, her, like the cheek is kind of farther away from the cartilage, and it's not as folded or as flared as mine. So, you know, it's like this is really quite kind of like very close compared to that one. But I still found how marked this is, this part of the cartilage here, compared to here, because it's, again, it's very soft, and it's like, again, I'm not trying to draw the sculpture, but that's still pretty accurate. Okay, so I think that about covers it. One thing that I did towards the end, and I don't know if I don't have progress pictures of this, but I made very heavy determined marks at the beginning of this. And well, you can kind of see them here, and you can see some of them here, but I was like, you know, it's a delicate drawing. It's kind of delicate, and you know, with the petals, she's a flower, she's a woman, and she's a young woman. And I had these ridiculous Pentimenti back here, like here, and you can still see some of that here. You can really see them in the petals because I didn't give them the treatment that I'm going to tell you about. And here too, like in this bitty corner here. I was like, that shit is distracting, it's bothering me. I think it gets in the way of this floating centered composition that I'm trying to do. So, my erasers were no longer working because I made some deep ass marks there. Just really dark. And you don't want that. I mean, you know, you do, but it's a risk if you ever want to get rid of that mark. So what I did as an emergency measure was towards the end, when I was very close to done, I used sandpaper, like fine sandpaper. And I haven't done that very often. I don't do it very often. This is like the second time in my life that I've done it. And the reason you want to have that, leave that as your last resort, is that you are interfering with the sizing of the paper, the polishing of the paper, and all that stuff that gives it kind of like the final layer of, texture of protection before it by the time that it gets to you and you start drawing on it, you're getting rid of that. So then if you happen to make another mark on top of that, it's like it's gonna be the last mark. It's not gonna go anywhere. So you have to be careful. With when you do the sanding and what you're gonna do with the area. So like your next mark on that area better be the good one. But what I wanted to do was to just delete those lines, or at the very least soften them really quite a lot. So I did, and it worked, and that was cool. Even though you can still see them, obviously, they're way fainter than they were before. I did not do that on the petals, so they looked more like this, particularly this one. They were very dark, and they were just like all around. They were around here on the shoulder, they were very dark here, they were very dark here on the back of her head. And I also took a pretty serious risk, and I did some here on this area on her nose, in front of her nose. But it was very much worth it. Sometimes you just gotta be a kamikaze and just go for it. So yeah, I think that covers it. The drawing is 8x10. I hope it gets into the show. And well, I also hope that you have enjoyed this video where I talk about a drawing that I worked on and compared it to the reference and tell you about what I was thinking with when I was looking at the reference, what I liked about the reference, what I kept from the reference, what I ignored from the reference, this type of stuff. I think that's very interesting. Yes, please remember to like and share this video if you have a fellow artist that you think might find this interesting, and then you can have like a whole ass talk about it, a whole ass conversation about it. Should an artist reveal their reference? Because some artists don't. But that's not how creativity works. You don't just think of shit. It is always referencing something. It's like no exception. Always referencing something. Whether you know that you're referencing directly, whether you don't know you're referencing it indirectly, whether you're referencing somebody that referenced something else, you're referencing something, okay? That's just how creativity works. It's just like nature, iterative. So like the new iteration that you're making is a little bit different from the thing that you're referencing. So then no, it's not the same. It's a little bit different, okay? So yeah, tell me what you think about that. I have pending making a video about where I muse about that very thing about originality, because I am up to the tip of my left tit of that shit, okay? It is ridiculous. Let's calm down. We shouldn't be obsessing about originality like that. It's kind of ridiculous. But anyway, yes, like, share the video. Subscribe to my channel. It's very helpful. Please check out the links in the description. Tell me what you think. Have you tried any of those products that I have there? Have you been to my website? Go buy a drawing, all right? You want to leave me a tip? Go to my Ko-fi, whatever. Leave me a tip in the form of a coffee. It's very welcome and very helpful. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you again for watching and hanging out. And I'm excited to read comments about this. And well, I always like reading comments because it's fun and interesting. Let me know what you think. Thanks again. Have a lovely day.